Jewish organizations. Virtually every religious organization in America has been compromised by this federal government. They have bought them out lock, stock, and barrel through grants and contracts to service illegal aliens. You understand how that works? This is how a dictatorship emerges. This is how a dictatorship where there is no separation of church and state evolves.
Yes.
I mean, those are complete sentences that I just made. And I want to thank you for calling, Susan. I'm countdown to Mecca for a man in your life for Father's Day. And if there is no specific man in your life, then you can have it for next Mother's Day. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Hey, our Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust for wealth insurance, gold and silver. Call 800-BUICOIN.
In America.
Stop this racist song right now and get out all copies of West Side Story and burn them. Burn them in the new America. How dare you play that on my show? What do you mean everything free in America? Are you kidding me? You know they all come here to work, the system. This is the Savage Nation. We're continuing our investigation of the meltdown of America and how to stop it. We have one great white hope, who is Donald Trump. Yeah, I just called him that. Savage calls Donald Trump the great white hope. That's right. Now, the First Lady has used Air Force Two for vacations before. This one hits a new low. She goes to London on a vacation. And where does she choose to give a speech? To a Muslim girls' school. It happens to be in a district that is now a district from where more radicals have emanated than anywhere else in England. Now, why would the First Lady not know that? Why would she have gone to a former mill town in England that is now a hotbed of radical Islamist behavior and speak to headscarved girls in a way that you're not going to believe? Is she running for some kind of office like the head of the UN? Listen to clip 11 of Your First Lady.
I'm here because when I look out at all of these young women, I see myself.
Oh, wow.
I may come from a country that's an ocean away, but yeah, I'm a bit older than you all. Yeah, I am. I know I don't look it, but I'm just a little older.
Okay, so she's pandering to Muslim girls in headscarves, and she says that she sees herself in a headscarf, I guess. Listen to number 12.
But in so many ways, your story is my story.
What?
For those of you who may not know much about my background, I grew up in a working class neighborhood on the south side of Chicago.
That's a lie.
A neighborhood a lot like this one.
You're a liar.
Through it all, my parents fully expected us to do both, to achieve our dreams and be there for.
Again, pushing the lie that she grew up in a poor neighborhood. People have called the show and said she grew up in a middle-class house. She had a lily white background, and now she's acting like she was a downtrodden minority. It's unbelievable to me. Then she goes on now and she attacks in an offhanded way people who are not Muslim. Listen in 13.
I want to thank all of the students here, the smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women of Mulberry School for Girls. You all are beautiful. And maybe you read the news and hear what folks are saying about your religion, and you wonder if people will ever see beyond your headscarf to who you really are, instead of being blinded by the fears and misperceptions in their own minds.
Why would the First Lady of the United States, who has an FBI right now conducting investigations of Muslims in 50 states, Muslims who are plotting to kill us and blow things up, why would she do this? You have to ask yourself what she and her husband are all about. You really have to ask yourself, why would she go all the way to England and pander to Muslim girls, not in a Muslim school known for anything special? Why would she praise them and say they're all special? Why would she say all of them are smart, powerful, and creative? How can you say that about all girls in a school? And why would she choose this school? This school, the Mulberry School, as I say to you, in a district of England that was once, let us say, one of the prominent areas of clothing manufacture, where the multiculturalists immigrated tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands of Muslims who have now taken over the entire district, and it is now a hotbed of radicalism. 5 major suicide bombers came out of that very district that she chose to go to. Why? You mean she wasn't informed of this by the FBI? Now listen to the next one on how she attacks people who are not Muslims in 14.
I know how painful and how frustrating all of that can be. I know how angry and exhausted it can make you feel.
Poor lady.
But here's the thing. With an education from this amazing school,
What's amazing about it?
you all have everything you need to rise above all of the noise and fulfill every last one of your dreams.
But what are the dreams? What is she talking about? Why she's always acting like she's downtrodden and oppressed as a first lady? Is she the first lady to ever be criticized? Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Every first lady was criticized. This one, though, thinks that it's based on race. Everything to her is in a racial manner. Nothing about criticism is allowed in her mind. But it gets worse, much worse. Again, I have to ask you the question. Why does Michelle Obama go to one of the most radical communities for Muslims in England and pander to the girls in that school? What is she really after? What do you think she's going to be running for? We're all focused on 2016 in America. What do you think she and her husband have in mind should they ever leave office? I don't know what she has in mind. Does she want to run the UN? Does she want to run the World Bank? Can you imagine this nightmare scenario? Barack Obama as the head of the UN and Michelle Obama as the head of the World Bank. Can you imagine that? How would that be for Quinella? Would you like that one? Because I can add to it if you'd like. It's going to get worse, not better. Even when they cease plaguing America, should they ever leave office. And by the way, look at the damage Bush did in the last 3 months of his reign of terror. Remember I warned you in the August of that year that it wasn't over, what he was going to do when he busted the economy? Do you remember Bush did that? Obama has 18 months left. That's an awfully long time, boys and girls. Think about it. It's the Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
I'm going to have some breaking news for you soon, right after this break, but I got to get back to what we're talking about. I can't believe what I'm looking at. I can't even get into it. It'll open up a whole new can of worms of people calling the show. I have some very good callers. Bill on WABC disagrees with me on Pope Francis. Go ahead, Bill. You're on the Savage Nation.
Hello. Thank you very much. This is from New York metropolitan area and also New England. The reports that come from the diocese that there has been an increase in church attendance and a lot of more enthusiasm.
Oh, that's very good. But what do you think about his false preaching about global warming?
Okay, there's something about the Pope that most Catholics...
Sir, I need you to answer the question. It doesn't matter that there are more behinds in the pews throwing money into the till. What do you think about him meddling in politics?
Well, that is... he could refrain from that, actually. So,
all right, so you agree he should refrain from that. Yes, he's a very popular pope because he espouses the liberal garbage that the universities are putting out. And so, therefore, people are attracted to a liberal pope because they don't have to really do anything to be Catholic. They say, hey, that's great, man. I could sleep with 10 women and I could be a Catholic. I love that.
So there's another aspect of...
Well, man, I can marry my father and I could be a Catholic. I love that.
But this about the infallibility of the Pope when he speaks from the chair of St. Peter. In the last 150 years, he has only used it twice. The first time the Pope used
it... Only use what for twice?
The doctrine of faith and morals, which comes under the category of the Pope being infallible. Very rare does the Pope use that particular doctrine. And in 150 years...
So what are you saying? The Pope is infallible or he isn't?
No, he's infallible only on faith and morals. And that's
but he's not. But he does have the possibility for fallibility with regard to politics, correct?
No, no. Outside of Can I just mention?
This is too complicated. I'm getting a migraine. I feel like I need a new pair of glasses. I don't know what the guy's talking about. Here's some news. Take a guess who owns the Waldorf Astoria? The Chinese government. Last year, they bought it from the Hilton Corporation for $1.9 billion, right? At the time, the deal should not have gone through. But guess who Secretary of State was? The Clinton Library's wife. She let the deal go through. There were arguments that you shouldn't let China buy it. Now, the terms of the sale allow Hilton to run the hotel for 100 years. That's okay. But it also calls for, quote, a major renovation, quote unquote, that some government officials fear will permit Chinese eavesdropping and cyber espionage inside the hotel. Now, as you well know, your friends in China hacked the recent federal personnel records, which compromised the data of millions of government workers. They are on a soft war footing against the United States of America. Well, guess what happens this fall? There's an annual UN General Assembly meeting. Well, this fall, for the first time after many decades, the State Department will not let their employees stay in the hotel, the Waldorf Astoria. They're going to use another hotel. They will not use the Waldorf Astoria because the Chinese own it. And everyone knows that they're going to be spying on American diplomats and support staff who travel to New York for the General Assembly each September and usually stay and hold meetings on 2 secured floors at the Waldorf. You and I both know they've already bugged them. And that's the rest of the story. 855-400-7282. The country is like Swiss cheese right now after Barack Obama and John Kerry and Hillary Clinton. The nation is like Swiss cheese. We need a president who is going to give us America back, kick out the spies, crack down on the illegals, throw out the illegals in prison, crack down on the foreign currency manipulators. That's what we need. And he's the only one saying he would do it. He made the other Republicans, unfortunately, look like what they are, which are compromisers. It's that simple. Whoever advised them was advising them wrongly. He speaks plainly and he speaks directly. So now we go to Roget's Thesaurus for straight white males, my edition. It's old and it's yellow, and it goes back to my college days. It's from the year, 1960. I have a 1961 edition of the Roget's Thesaurus. This is truly an old straight white male edition. Now, I do not know if the current edition of Roget's Thesaurus still contains these words, but I'm going to look into them right now. In this old straight white male edition, perverse means contrary, wayward, naughty, obstinate, self-willed, headstrong. Okay, you could say to someone you're being perverse, and it has no moralistic implications. Or you can say you want to talk about the noun perversion, misusage, misemployment, misapplication, depravity, immorality. See, now we're getting closer to what all of you think it really is. Depravity, immorality, abnormality. There's no such thing as abnormal today in the United States of America. If a man can say he's a woman and you have to swallow it and say, well, you are a woman, otherwise I'm a homophobe. Or if a white woman could say, I am black, and you have to say, but, then you're a racist. You see, there's no meaning to the word abnormality anymore. Thank you very much, leftists. The thesaurus that I own has another use of the word pervert. Synonyms for pervert. The noun include desecrate, prostitute, vitiate, adulterate, alloy. You know, if you alloy something, you deteriorate it. Demoralize, deprave, and seduce. I love words. Now, if you want to use the adjective version of perverted, you have synonyms meaning depraved, abandoned, unnatural. Whoa. Hey, that's a heavy one, Robert. Unnatural. Is there anything unnatural in America today other than a patriot? Is there anything more unnatural in America than a man who actually believes in God, family, and the American way? Not to the radical vermin who are running the country. So as you see, the straight white male edition of Roget's Thesaurus that I just read from is quite antiquated. And I should go to a new, more modern version, written by some of our distinguished professors of today, those for whom there is nothing unnatural and for whom there is nothing perverse. Well, welcome back to the Savage Nation. Let's see, what else do we have? We have Michelle Obama addressing the Mulberry School. Oh, we did that already. We have Rachel Dolezal. That's a great one.